In this video, we're going to talk about the mental aspect of ejaculation control. Getting this part right is fundamental to our success with developing this practice. The first key principle that I'm going to discuss is the quality of focus. Focus means having the ability to have sustained consciousness and presence towards ourselves, others, or other external objects or situations. I remember a long time ago, somebody told me that if I felt like I was going to come faster than I wanted to, that I should focus on something else. Something like taking out the garbage or something else that's inherently not sexy, something that won't continue to amplify my sexual arousal. While this may provide some temporary relief from the urge to ejaculate, it's actually terrible advice because it trains us to lose focus. It trains us to have fragmented consciousness or presence towards something. A key success factor of learning ejaculation retention is the ability to have exquisite level of focus on what's going on inside of us during our sexual arousal. We need to track something called our arousal rate and our arousal intensity. More on that later in the course, but for now, we're going to zero in on focus and the need to have a quality of focus. If our mind is jumping all over the place during lovemaking, from our own pleasure, the feeling like our genitals are about to burst, to how sexy our woman's or our partner's breasts jiggling while we're making love to them are, if our attention is all over the place, or maybe all of a sudden we start to think about something that we forgot to do at work, or we're fearful that we forgot to turn off the stove and we're wondering if the house is going to burn down while we're making love. If any of this resonates, it points to an inability to have focus or be exquisitely present. The ability to stay present is a cornerstone of these techniques. A practice that Mantak Chia recommends in the book The Multi-Orgasmic Man is a meditation where we count from 0 to 100, and anytime we notice our mind start to drift as we're counting, we have to start back at 0 again. The idea is so that we learn to have a sustained level of focus from 0 to 100. It's like a mental muscle. It's mental fitness. Not only does having this ability to have a sustained level of focus apply to our sex life, it applies to all areas of our life. This is just one of the many ways that developing our sexual mastery translates into our life mastery. In plain English, if our mind is all over the place, it's very difficult to have a high level of ejaculation control. We need to build our focus and presence muscles. Another one of the reasons why having a profound level of focus is important is because it's really easy to slide back into old habits. Most men are actually addicted to ejaculation. It's something that they crave, that they long for. And because we've learned to train our nervous system at such a young age that sexual stimulation equals ejaculation, for most of us when we start learning these practices, we actually have to etch new grooves into our brain and our nervous system. We have to do repatterning. When we have a high level of focus, that repatterning gets a lot easier. For example, if we're making love with a partner and our mind is jumping all over the place, we're noticing our pleasure be amplified and the urge to ejaculate coming on, it's easy to come up with excuses or bypasses that lean us towards ejaculating again. It'll feel good. I should just go ahead and ejaculate. I've been feeling stressed out lately. I've been feeling overwhelmed. I've got too much energy and I just want to go to sleep. There's all these ways that our mind can take us out of the practice. When we build our focus muscle, it helps us stay determined without letting the mental activity that comes up for us sway us from our path. This is such a noble and profound path to learn. It's trailblazing for men to do this. And tuning our mind right is so important to staying on the path. This practice can take a long time to master for some people. I feel blessed that I started to get the hang of it after about 3 weeks of practice, and by about week 6, I was starting to feel fairly confident. From the week 6 mark up until now, over 10 years later, I feel very confident. It took me until about year 5 before I felt rock solid in it, so it is a long-term process to retrain ourselves in this way. I want to manage your expectations about that because maybe you'll get it in a week, and if you do, amazing. And for some people, it can take up to 10 years. Now, if that's defeating to hear for you, don't worry about it. Regardless of how long it takes you to get it, it is so worthwhile for its medicinal, healing, transformational benefits. Just the impact it has on our relationships alone is super worth it. And then we start to learn how retaining our ejaculation and deliberately choosing not to ejaculate during every lovemaking occasion, how much that boosts our vitality, or our chi as the Taoists like to call it. Feeling the energetic impact that it has, the boosted creativity, the boosted mental clarity and focus, the boosted levels of energy throughout the day as we rock out our mission and our purposes. There's so many multi-layers of benefits that to me, it's unquestionably worthwhile to stay on the path. The final piece about our mental game that I'm going to speak to is really getting to know why we're doing this. We need to be deeply established in our own unique personal why. Maybe that why is, I just want to last longer in bed so that I can enjoy longer lovemaking. Maybe it's because I'm in a relationship and my partner is perpetually not sexually satisfied, and I want to do my best to show up for them. Maybe it's because I feel tired and drained because I over-ejaculate, and I want to boost my energy levels. Maybe it's because you want to have multiple orgasms and have the ability to have full-bodied, non-ejaculative orgasms again and again and again during your lovemaking experiences. The point is we need to know exactly why we're doing this and stay rooted and centered in that, like rock solid rooted and centered in that. Otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, our mind or our ejaculation addiction will try to take us out of the game. We need to make our personal why more important than our ejaculation addiction or the mental noise that comes up that tries to sabotage us. In the next video, we're going to talk about the importance of tracking and getting intimately clear on our arousal rate. Being able to track and identify our arousal rate before we get to what's called the point of no return is critical for being able to have mastery with ejaculation control.